What's up, everybody? It's Joe, and I'm here to talk to you guys about the truth behind state funds. Let's go. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's jump right into it. I want to go over the truth behind state funds. All right. And I'm going to let you guys know, I'm going to be honest. I'm very biased. Okay. Because with me and state funds, we had this relationship to where anytime I feel low or I feel down or like I'm just not getting enough deals in, I turn over to state funds and it always picks me back up. One thing I always tell people when they're getting started with unclaimed funds is start with state funds first. Okay, because it's probably one of the quickest and easiest wins that you can get under your belt to get you that momentum. Because most people, when they start businesses and you're not getting any deals done, it's discouraging, it's nerve-wracking, and especially if your next month's rent depends on you making deals, then going mortgages or tax overages, bankruptcies, those take a lot more work. Now, they're bigger paydays in most cases, but I'll tell you this, if you're trying to get a quick, easy win with the least amount of resistance, state funds is where to go. Okay, so I want to break this down into three simple areas, like three lanes. And this is just how my mind works, because if I was to create a process where I was to get someone to actually help me out when I'm working my state funds, I would literally break this down into three lanes and I would sign three different people to each lane. But let me first tell you why I like state funds so much, because it's consistent. I work California for the most part. I mean, you can work any state in the United States, but when I'm working California, the thing I like about them is they make it so easy to hack the system. What I mean by that is I can search people specifically in my city. They can either give you a spreadsheet or you can pull up your city on their database and then you can find every single person who lives right in your town. Another thing that I tell people is work as close to home as possible. Usually people want to work different states that they don't even live in, and that's fine. But if you work somewhere close to home, you feel more comfortable with the other person on the phone and you can relate and you can establish rapport, so it'll be easier for you to close a deal because that person is going to trust you because you all have some commonalities between yourself. But if I was to call someone from South Carolina or Seattle or, Georgia, I've never lived in those places before. I have nothing in common with these people other than I'm trying to get them to allow me to run their state funds for them. So that's why I stick with California and I work as close to home as possible. And I even have the ability, if I'm working state funds, I can actually drive and knock on that person's door. I can mail them a letter or I just drop it off on their doorstep. I can do all kinds of things. I've got a lot of leverage on my side by working somewhere close to home. Another thing that's just my personal opinion, this is not scientifically proven, but I feel like people give you less resistance because state funds is a little bit easier to believe than tax overages or mortgages and bankruptcies, right? Because when someone has a home foreclosed on them and then all of a sudden they get a phone call saying, hey, we owe you money after we just took your home or after the state or county just took your home, voila, they're gonna look on you like, you must be crazy. And they're gonna hang up the phone. So that's why I tell people state funds, it's a little bit easier to come across, a little bit more understandable for the end user, for the lead that we're trying to work, because you're literally just telling them like, hey, look, are you familiar with this account? Yes? Okay, awesome. Well, I'm calling to let you know that this money's still available and you need to get it. And I'm here to help you out. I'm like Robin Hood. I'm taking from the government and I'm putting money back in your pocket. Let's do this. So it's just a little bit easier. It's like an easier pill for people to swallow. So again, just going back to state funds, let's talk about the three different lanes that I like to break this down into, okay? So P1 is like phase one, the first phase. You want to determine your location. You want to determine, okay, your skip tracing part, like how you're going to do your skip tracing, how often you're going to do your skip tracing, and where you're going to store this information. So this is like the painter's tape, right? You're just trying to get everything prepped up. You want to make sure that everything looks good before you start making phone calls. And again, you're working a state. So it's not like different counties with different rules and different, forms and documents. Like everything is always uniform and it's always the same when you're working your state funds. So right here, you get all the admin stuff and get all your information gathered correctly. Then phase two, that's the phone calls. A lot of people do cold calling. I don't do that. I do what's called smart calling. And I teach this in my course that I have. And I put a link in the description somewhere. You guys can check out my course if you guys like. But in the course, I teach people the difference between cold calling and smart calling. I will sum it up like this because there's a lot that goes into it. And it's going to be a whole nother video I got to create to talk about smart calling. But you really want to call someone and have an understanding of who they are, no, and have different information. So when they throw up objections, you can come back and show how you all have some type of relationship. Okay. And you want to also be smart on the details of what's out there for them. Okay, and you can do this through investigation. You can find the documents and everything that you need, and through your skip tracing, you can find out more about them, and you can learn more on their social media. There's so many things you can do, so you guys have some commonality between yourselves. So when you're asking for them to service them, then you get that yes so much easier. And then that brings us to phase number 3. Okay, and this is where I take them to the next stage, because I don't want to overwhelm you. I just want you to say yes. That's all I want you to do on the phone. Get you to say yes, and I want to send you the electronic documents that I have. And then from there, I want to talk about the game plan. Now, this is making sure that, okay, you sign my agreement. Now we're going to talk about what's going to happen next, the next steps. Let's get all the legal documents signed, sealed, delivered, and so I can get it to the next stage, which is going to the state. Okay, now I work with the Treasury, and let me tell you guys something. It is such an easy process, especially if you just continuously work with the state. You're going to have this down like clockwork. It's going to be like putting your clothes on. You know what I mean? Like me, when I was in the military, we wore the same uniform, same socks, same boots, do it again. And you just keep repeating the process. Well, that's how I look at like this right here. And then when you start building your team and you start getting people to help you out, what if it's your family members or friends, or you hire somebody, you can have like one person do phase 1 only. You can have another person get the handoff for phase number 2. And then phase number 3 can be the last person's job. And it's just like everyone's handing off to the next person. And you have that good communication flow of what's going on. And I would say this. I would say always make sure that you guys follow up. So whoever's doing phase number 3, when you send documents out, make sure, if it's not you, make sure one of these 2 people are following up the client, letting them know status of their paperwork. And if everything is good, or if anything else is needed, your clients will truly appreciate that. And who knows, you might even get a tip. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys found value in this video. I always try to make sure that I put things out there so you guys can learn the truth about state funds, mortgages, tax overages, bankruptcies. I want you guys to learn like all these different aspects so you can determine what's going to be best for you. And if you're ever interested in joining a group of badasses who have like-minded intentions as far as entrepreneurship goes, by all means, please join my free Facebook group. I put the link in the description. I can't tell if it's up or down, but it's in the description. Go ahead, join the group, join the conversations, share ideas, and you can always ask me questions in the group because I live in that group. I do things in there because I enjoy it. I enjoy helping people out. I also put a free training in the description as well. So you guys got all kinds of options. You pick what works best for you, and let's get the ball rolling because it's time for you to start and launch your business. Until next video, guys, I'll see you later. Peace.